The Buzz with Jess Lujan.
Main studio guest tonight is Chief J.I. Cruz from the Guam Police Department. Chief, last week I had, again, Chief Joey Sinicolas, and we talked about the challenges, of course, of Guam Fire Department. And you guys, again, it's a constant evolving of technology, of technology. And you guys are dealing with cybercrime too now, and things of that nature. I mean, and the department has got to be up. I mean, you got to be constantly trained.
Absolutely.
I mean, you got to, the bad guy is always looking to see what the good guy is equipped with.
Sure.
To go around it, you know.
Absolutely.
And so you have to do just as well. You have to think what the bad guy may be thinking of, and have to go around them. How do you keep up with this in the sense if there's always a problem with funding?
I'll tell you, it's a challenge.
Mm-hmm,
It is at best. It's a challenge, but that's something that we look at on a daily basis, pretty much. And those are things that we have come to a realization that we are policing in the 21st century. With the availability of the World Wide Web, taken to the point where it's in the palm of a person's hand. We have to make sure that we stay current with that. We do our best in the Guam Police Department, considering our fiscal state of affairs. I think that we just need to strike that happy medium of how much money do we have, how much are we able to spend, keeping in mind that technology does not wait for the Guam Police Department. It doesn't wait for the government of Guam. It needs to continue to move forward. So we reach out to our federal partners. We reach out to the FBI, the DEA, the ATF, and we try and leverage some of that help, some of that support. We look to see what we need to do to stay current. We look at other jurisdictions as well to see what are they doing that we need to do to stay current. And then again, we reach out to the community because it's all about community-oriented policing. And what are the needs of the community? And then we figure out what it is that we need to get for our community. It's a matter of prioritizing and making sure that, number one, we stay in bounds of our fiscal responsibility. And then number two, we just figure out it's the 21st century. There are many things that we need to consider, and finding that, or striking that happy balance, if you will, we figure out what our priority is, and we continue to move.
You know, the unfortunate thing is we watch these things unfold on national TV times in regards to hostage situations and things of that nature. You know, child abduction, and it's something that we're not immune to. We're not immune to that. I mean, I'm glad that a few weeks ago, the child abduction was a false thing. I mean, I hope that individual will get what he deserves. But that being said, and it turned out to be all right. The child was fine. But we're not immune to child abduction. We're not immune to hostage situations.
Absolutely.
But when I see these things unfold on national TV, and you know the better equipped police departments that are there and they're ready to go with this, and I'm going, you know, as you guys have said, we're the only ones out here.
Absolutely.
I mean, we can't call in other bordering cities to come in and help us. You guys are all we have.
Absolutely.
And so I would love to see again you guys better equipped. Give you all the equipment that is needed, because we only have ourselves.
Absolutely.
And I don't understand why we continue again to you know, as politicians continue to say that I know you're asking for this, but I think you can manage with this. I mean, when a politician calls you to their house because of a certain emergency, I'm sure they're not saying to you, sir, I think you can manage with this. You know, it's up to you, right? Because you're calling the thing, you know, whatever scene you're responding to. You're the person. I called you because I don't know what to do. You're the person that knows.
You know, Jess, I couldn't have said that any better, and I agree. When you take a look at government, and you look at the three pillars of government, one of them is public safety. There's also public health and public education. But truly, how much risk are we willing to incur? How much risk are we willing to assume? And when you assume risk on the side of public safety, then you start to run into issues, because you're absolutely right. We are not equipping our police officers the way we should be. We're not getting them the right resources. And when you call on the police department or you call on public safety, whether it's the Guam Fire Department or the Guam Police Department, you need to know that they're there. So those are things that we in the Guam Police Department, we continue to lobby with our elected officials. We continue to lobby with the members of the legislature to make sure that they understand. While there is a fiscal state of affairs in the government, it's about risk management. How much risk are we willing to manage so that we can keep our people safe? Because ultimately, it's about them. It's about our people and keeping our people safe. So nobody will lobby harder. Nobody will, for lack of a better term, will argue more with a politician about what we need in the Guam Police Department. And again, we do it because it's about the people. This is really not us being selfish in that we want all the nice toys and the fancy cars and so on and so forth. We really just need what we need to do to be able to keep the public safe. And for us, that's what it's all about. Understanding that there are other programs, there are other entities, there are other things that need to be taken care of, health and education and so on and so forth. But at the same time, it's about keeping our people safe.
And I just get, when I'm back in the States and I'm visiting a community and I'm visiting a pretty affluent community, and I see their police officers, I see how equipped they are, I see their cars are like RoboCops, I mean, they have access to the president's phone, basically, they're outfitted. I mean, they're bullet vests.
Absolutely.
And I'm saying, this community is pretty safe. You don't need that, I mean, but that's a community that people would want to live in.
Absolutely.
Would want to live in. Those are communities that have great parks, and you'll see families playing out in the parks and things like that, and their cubs are going around, and they're friendly. Yeah, they're friendly, but they're well equipped.
Sure.
I dream for that one day.
No, you're absolutely right, Jess. And again, it's that community doing their part to invest in their safety. It's about the police department serving the people. So when you see a jurisdiction like that, it's because the community has come together to say, this is our priority, along with other priorities as well. And not to say that that's not what we're doing here on our island. But again, as we move forward, you talk about all these the nice police cars and the bulletproof vests. Today, a standard for a police officer is to have reporting right there from their car. I mean, we're even moving beyond that. In the age of tablets and cell phones. We should be able to issue our police officers a tablet or a cell phone, and everything's done from right there. It's paperless, and it's completely state of the art. It's secure, and there's no writing down on a piece of paper. There's no. So as we move forward, those are the things we are looking at. How are we gonna? What are we doing to be more efficient in the government? And those kinds of pieces of equipment, as you had mentioned, all lend to the efficiency in government, the efficiency to be able to serve the public, so that somebody's not waiting for a lengthy period of time for a report or what's happening with this case. So there's a whole process, if you will, and that's what we're taking a look at. We're trying to find that balance, if you will, as we move forward. What can we do to leverage the 21st century policing, understanding that there is a financial state of affairs in the government, and how can we continue to move forward to protect the people?
I know years back, we gave the approval and the authority for the Guam Police Department to have its own legal counsel. You no longer have that, huh?
We don't. Several positions have gone away. The deputy chief of police, who again is a non-uniform individual who would work right under me. That position is gone. Legal counsel, a legal advisor, is no longer there. A staff attorney is no longer there. That's not part of our function statement. So those are all three very critical positions.
And especially, Chief, especially when you look at what's happening nationwide.
Absolutely.
Nationwide.
Yes.
We see what's happening nationwide. As a result of what's happening nationwide, that's why there's there's a lot of people support the men and women in blue, believe me, okay? But there's forces out there as well that are not quite in support. And again, because of their perception of maybe some legal things or racist or racial tendencies they have, whatever it may be. But it's critical, again, in this day and age, to outfit you guys with these expertise that you have, and especially the ones that may be experts that are in police science and know these entities.
Yes, you're absolutely right, Jess, and I will tell you, a legal advisor is just one of several. The staff psychologist is another very critical piece. Police officers deal with, the not so good in society. Let's face it. I mean, it's what we do. Being in the nature of our business. So we deal with death on a regular basis. We deal with violent crimes on a regular basis. Though all those have an impact on an individual's psyche, and people handle it very different. And I will tell you that having a staff psychologist on board allows us the mechanisms to be able to handle that and be able to deal with that, so that you have a more fit police officer, not just physically fit, but mentally fit, psychologically fit, all the way around. We have chaplains in our police department. They help us out in that regard. But again, those are key positions. When you talk about empowering the police department and finding the resources, the monies to be able to allow the police department to do what they do, all those positions are vital.
Well, likewise, Chief, I mean, you got to prepare prepare your folks as well to retire from the department.
Absolutely.
You've got to bring them to that state to be civilians again. Because although they live a civilian life when they still think they're police officers. Although you got to get them out of that. I ran into a police officer just retired. And he's having a rough time. He's having a rough time retiring. Being in retirement life.
No, Jess, the point you bring up is very valid. And I will tell you, the military has something very similar to that. When a person retires out of the military, there's a transition process. There's counseling, there's across the spectrum, they set that service member up for success, for transition from the military life out to civilian life. The same needs to be gotten for those that retire out of the Guam Police Department. A pat on the back and a certificate and an honor or a retired badge is not enough.
That's right.
When a police officer has been high strung by the nature of what we do as police officers, there's got to be some transition there. And those are all things that we take a look at on a regular basis to try and figure out what can we do for our police officers. And are we doing enough?
That's right. And I didn't realize that until I spoke to this individual and I said, oh, man, there are a lot of things we don't know.
Absolutely.
I got to take